Hello everybody, this is me, Amin.
And this Alex.
And welcome to another episode of Let's Talk About. And in this episode, we're going to talk about what do you do when your EV breaks down?
Or having any emergencies.
Or what do you do if you had an EV emergency? So obviously, EV is a new thing in Malaysia. It's, I would say, fairly new. A lot of people are not familiar with the technology. A lot of people are worried. But a lot of other people are also curious. They are early adopters and they are also naysayers. And in this episode, we're gonna try to answer the questions surrounding maybe concerns that you may have with EV, with an electric vehicle, especially concerning roadside assistance, what happens during a crash, and if you had any breakdown on the road, or like a tire puncture or something. It's interesting because that is what exactly happened to our friend here, Alex. So today is the 26th of January, right after the long Chinese New Year weekend. Alex wanted to take a road trip all the way up to Penang, and he was using his EV6. Along the way, so he wanted to test out, during the Chinese New Year holidays, the road trip, are the charging stations enough? Will there be any long queues? Little did we all know that he encountered one problem that we all didn't predict that he would. So You want to tell the story?
Okay, so basically it's supposed to be like a 3-day, 2-night trip. So the plan was to go to to Ipoh, spend one night there, and then continue journey to Penang, and after that just drive all the way down to KL. And as we all know, during the early days, there's always concern that there's not enough chargers, and now there's more EVs on the road. BYD just delivered 100 units just right before Chinese New Year festivities.
So among the EV enthusiasts, there is this really popular Facebook page called My EVOC. It's the Malaysian EV Owners Club. It's registered and things like that. So within, so there's a lot of conversations about they share topics about EV and stuff like that. So among the most popular conversations on the lead up to the holiday was, look out, it's busy travel period, it's the holiday season, you're going to see, get ready to see long lines at EV charging stations along the highway. So I guess you went out to kind of find out whether that's true or not. Okay, so then continue on with your journey. So you were on your way to Penang from Ipoh, and then what happened?
So after the first night, I continue my trip up to Penang. So I drive up, and then I try to make a stop at this Bukit Gantang. There's an R&R there, and there's a Caltex station with Jom Charge. So there's also another DC charger there, and there was no queue. There's no one there, but I don't need charge since I got enough juice from the previous charger at Jentari. So I continue up, and as where I pass by Taiping, and suddenly near Gunung Semanggol, I got a low pressure tire warning. I was like, this blinking orange. Okay, your left rear tire is having low pressure. So from 38 starts to drop to 20, drop to 11 very quickly. Luckily, I was just 1 kilometer away from Gunung Semanggol R&R.
Okay.
So I immediately make the exit, go to the petrol station and stop and check out what's happening. And that's where I noticed there's a huge leak on the tire. So it's leaking and all that.
Oh no.
So it's like, surprisingly, the biggest issue for this trip is not charging, because obviously there's ample charging, and because of DC fast charging, you don't need to really hog the line. So charging wasn't an issue, honestly.
Okay, so let's throw that out of the way.
Yeah.
So the finding with regards to, is there enough chargers to support you to drive from KL all the way to Penang during the peak hour of travel, right? So peak period of travel, which is Chinese New Year, I think it would be considered one of the highest periods of traveling. Did you see any crowds at the petrol stations?
Yeah, definitely. R&R is always packed with
So
people.
it's always full of people,
Yep.
but you didn't have any issues with charging stations.
The only issue, I won't say issue which is understandable, was the first stop I made at Ipoh, because that's a very popular spot, and that's the only charger in that area that can charge 1 ringgit per kilowatt hour, which is super cheap compared to other chargers that charge by the minute. And that time there's 2 cars charging, and then they take about maybe 20 minutes or 30 minutes max to charge before they need to go off. And there's 1 guy in queue. So it's pretty fast. So at night when I came back again to just top up a little bit, I was the only one. And followed by, when I left, another car came in also. So it wasn't a big issue.
Did you see a lot of EVs on the road during your peak season travel period.
So when I go up to Ipoh, I saw Black Ioniq. What's interesting is that when I passed by him, when he passed by me, right, he wanted to give me a wave. So it's pretty cool, lah. Brotherhood, yeah.
It's the EV brotherhood.
And then when I went to Ipoh, also when I was charging, also had a quick chat with another Tesla guy, also, and he's also going up north. So yeah, I mean, not as many as I thought, but I think most people are just, they have enough charge to just get on going.
Okay, so I want to bury this, right? So a lot of the naysayers saying, there's going to be long queues and all that. Charging is going to be a hassle.
Yep.
So you see a high number of EVs on the road. There were high numbers of EVs coming into the market just before the Chinese New Year, right? So BYD, you mentioned, delivered 100 vehicles just before the New Year. And you'd expect, the charging station will be all full up.
Yep.
And I think from the group and from your own experience traveling from south, from KL all the way to Penang, charging infrastructure is not an issue.
Yep.
So we can lay that to rest. So if there's any questions about, you know what, it's going to be so crazy, I got to wait like 5-6 hours, there's going to be long queues and stuff like that. I think Alex has went through like one of the worst scenarios into the charging, and it seems fine.
I think the biggest difference is that we have more DC chargers right now.
Yes.
Because previously it was AC chargers. AC chargers, of course, you need to take hours to get sufficient charge. Like 11 kilowatts. So you need to spend maybe 2-3 hours.
2 hours.
So with DC charging, you just need like 20-30 minutes
And you're
max, and you're done.
Yeah. Charging was the biggest problem that you expect to encounter, right? Waiting, standing in line, chargers not working, or couldn't find charger, running really low in battery power. You were expecting all that, right?
Yep.
And then suddenly you encountered a tire puncture.
Which is a stupid problem.
No, which is like the smallest, easiest thing to fix.
Yes, any car owners, know that, not a big deal, right?
Any guy, any driver, any person that drives a car knows how to fix a tire.
Yes.
Okay, so then what happened?
So, tire was flat, come out, and the thing you need to realize that on most EVs, including the Kia EV6, right, you don't have a spare tire.
Not just EVs. I think most new cars now,
including hybrids especially,
they don't provide a spare tire.
Yeah, not even a space saver tire.
Yeah.
And for the EV6 specifically, you only get a tire repair kit. You don't have a jack, no spare tire, nothing. Yeah. That's the only thing that can save you from the situation.
What is this tire repair kit that you're talking about? Is it like what is this tire repair? For those who don't know what a tire repair kit
so it's basically this box, right? It has like a
compressor,
that actually fills up the air, and then you have one bottle of sealant. So that sealant is supposed to be something you put in, and you turn it on, it will fill up the tire, and then it will try to
plug the hole. Yes.
Yeah.
So it's supposed to be this magic thing.
Yes.
That you fill it in your tire, and it will plug the hole, and you can continue on your journey. So when you had that flat, what was your first initial reaction, and what was your plan?
So, like as mentioned by the guy who went through with me during the delivery of the car, it's okay. Whatever happens, right? Call the hotline and see what can be done. So I did just that. There's a number on the sticker. Okay, the EV hotline. I call the number and then, hi, what's the emergency? Blah blah blah. Then I told them, okay, I have a flat tire. I'm in this location. What can I do? And then they said the only thing they can offer right now is to tow the car. But the question is, tow to where? Because firstly, it's Chinese New Year. Its shops are closed. If you told me to the nearest, Kia service center, they're not open. They're not going to solve the problem.
Yep.
Tow by the KL, you're also not going to solve the problem. I have a place to go to because you
already made your booking. You already paid everything.
Yeah, I made booking. I'm supposed to go to Penang, spend one night there, and be coming back. So I'm kind of stuck. So okay, what options do I have? They say only right now is towing, and then I called the technical guy who's assigned to me. I asked him, I said, okay, what can I do, bro? And then they say, okay, right now the best advice is to tow a car, but if you really need to continue journey, last resort is just use the tire repair kit. And because
he recommended that you use the tire repair kit.
He said last resort because they all say that just tow the car and say if you really need to continue the journey, you have to use a tire repair kit. So okay, I tried the tire repair kit and it's actually quite easy to use. You just
they have very clear instructions.
Yes, clear instructions.
We'll put up in the picture. So you'll share the picture. We'll put it up on our YouTube channel.
Yeah. So you just
YouTube video.
Yeah. So you just plug the power connector to the 12-volt socket, which is behind the car, and then you put the sealant into the port. Just screw it tightly.
Yep.
And then you connect the pipe into the tire, and then turn it on for 10 minutes. So it will do its thing. It pump air with the sealant, blah 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 blah. And then the thing about the tire repair kit is that there are three possibilities. First possibility is that they finish all the sealant and then you get enough pressure. I think you should hit 3 bars of pressure. You hit 3 bars of pressure, that's ideal situation, which means that you can drive the car up to a distance of 200 kilometers. Yeah, because this is a temporary kit, so you can drive the car up to 200 kilometers. If the car gets 2 bars or below, 2 bars, you only can drive for a distance of 10 kilometers, which is pointless if you're on a plus highway, because how far can you go in 10 kilometers?
10 kilometers.
Yeah, I mean, you can't go to any nearest town.
So your plan was to fill up with sealant.
And just
Hopefully it
finish.
gets up to like 3 bars and then
Drive to Penang and then park the hotel, and then I just go around, then I just drive back to KL.
Okay.
Because I asked the person, okay, you say 200 kilometers, can I make it to KL if I go Penang? I say, you can try, but so just my expectation. Okay, I can patch tire and go.
Okay.
And then after doing that, right, the tire is still flat.
After the 10 minutes
10 minutes gone, the
of
tire
pumping.
pumping, and then I thought, okay, maybe because the instruction is after you pump the tire with the sealant fully depleted, you should drive around.
After it goes up a certain pressure, you drive around
Yeah, after you
for
finish.
another 1 or 10 kilometers or something like
Yeah,
that.
and the thing is, the tire is flat, so I can't drive around that much. So I thought, okay, maybe just go around just to make sure it's mixed properly and all that, spread properly. So I just drive around inside the petrol station, not much lah, maybe a few hundred meters, and come back. And then I put the tire repair kit, the compressor again, pump, it still doesn't work. Then I call the technical guy. He said, okay, try use the air pump at the petrol station. So I did that, and then first and plug in, right, it doesn't refuse to fill up the air. And they said, okay, try press the flat tire button option. Then that's where the air comes in. So when I do that, I can see bubbles or white bubbles coming out from the hole. But it's not inflating, man. The air keeps coming out. So the hole is too big. Because according to Continental's, the Conti Mobility Kit, this only effective for holes up to 6 millimeters.
So for those who don't know, so Alex is driving an EV6. So the EV6 is equipped with the Continental Premium Contact EV.
Yep.
So this is a EV special EV specific tire, and the reason why it's EV specific is because it has a foam lining inside to make the tire quieter. Because in EVs there's no engine noise, and when there's no engine noise, other noises start becoming louder because there's nothing else to drown that noise. So the issue with this sealant thing, right? So then what happened?
Then obviously I can't do anything, so I called I call someone in Plus. I call the Kia technical guy and said, looks like there's no other option because we can't fill up the air, so no choice but to tow.
Yep.
Yeah, and there's no one who can help to patch the tire. No assistance like that.
Okay.
And the worst part is that even if I want to change the tire myself, the car doesn't come with a jack. Basic stuff. Like if you think about it, right? If you have an ice car, right, no problem. Just take a tire, put the donut, whatever spare tire, and off you go. You worry about the spare the puncture tire later on. No worries. You can go on to your trip during Chinese New Year. But problem is right now, shops are not open. No one can help you patch. That's the biggest problem.
Okay, so I mean, what for me is like, okay, I mean, we spoke during that incident, and for me, it's like the biggest thing that I had an issue of. The biggest waste is you're like less than 100 kilometers away from Penang.
I think slightly more.
But no, Semangol is about like 80 kilometers.
Typing,
yeah, something like that lah. So you're like almost
the
there.
mainland Penang. Yes, yeah.
And you had to tow your car back all the way to
KL.
Kuala Lumpur.
Yes, because I have option.
Yes.
Where you want to tow, right? So I asked, okay, maybe I can tow to Penang and hopefully someone can patch tire there. But problem is for the sealant, right? According to instructions, is that, and also based on Kia's SOP, once you use the sealant, the tire can't be repaired anymore. Yeah. Because the sealant, they said it contaminates the interior of the tire, so you can't do any patching anymore. So basically your tire is gone, destroyed if you use sealant.
And what was the mileage of your vehicle until that time?
1,004.
Wow. Okay.
Yes, so one whole tire wasted.
One small hole, relatively speaking.
Yeah.
It's a really small hole, actually.
Which can be patched by a simple patch job.
But it could be patched by this thing called the chaching. You know, okay, there's another tire repair kit. You know, if you go to any tire workshop, you bring your tire with a nail inside, they will do this. It's like a needle thing, a rubber,
like a thin rubber strip. Yeah,
rubber
like a
strips
gummy
with glue.
candy.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. You just poke it inside the tire. He pulls out the thing. The strip stays stuck in the hole,
And they also put some adhesive liquid just to make sure it's solid. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
and it's done.
Yeah.
ringgit, 10 ringgit job.
Yeah, we've done that with all our ice cars as well.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
I mean, it's not to say that electric vehicles cannot do that. It's just, it's unfortunate that there's this really non-clear instruction on what to do.
And also the timing as well.
Yeah, the timing is unfortunate, but I'm sure. I guess it's looking for a needle in a haystack, but I'm sure you'll be able to find somebody that's going to be able to help patch up the thing, because it's a busy period, and I'm sure you can. So the nightmare doesn't end there, right? Okay, let's cut the story short. So at the end of the day, you send it all the way to Kia in Glenmarie.
Yep.
They opened up the tire, and then you want to finish the story?
Yeah, so basically there's foam there, and then you can tell that the foam is actually like a sponge kind of thing. So
It's like gooey, slimy.
So it's
you're talking
gooey.
about the foam. I thought you
Yeah.
were talking about the sealant.
yeah, the foam is it's like a sponge lah. That's fused with the inner thread
Yeah,
of
it's
the
bonded.
tire. It's bonded to it. So I try to pull, like, wow, it's really bonded. So it's like,
Is it like a special sponge, like high density sponge, or is it expensive looking?
kind of, because it looks very acoustic lah.
Okay.
Yeah, it looks like the kind of sponge you put in the studio walls and all that. So it looks like it is meant to reduce noise. But the thing is, after using a sealant, right, the whole sponge is very greasy, like as if someone put Brul cream, the hair cream smeared around it.
Okay.
Yeah, and because of that, right, it can't be patched because it might not be. This is contaminated.
It's compromised lah. I think that's the word.
It's
lah.
compromised, yeah. So basically, it's like, in a way, it's like they cannot guarantee safety if you want to patch it up.
Yeah.
Something like that. So, yeah, so this kind of wasted. So if I can rewind back, right?
No. Wait. Okay.
Bishan.
Finish the story, and then after that, so you can't recover. You can't do anything with the tire.
Yeah, so you need to buy a brand new one.
1,500 kilometer old tire.
1,004.
1,400 kilometer old tire.
Yeah.
And then they say you have to buy a brand new one.
Yes.
How much does a brand new 20-inch Continental Premium Contact 6 EV cost?
It's 2,400 ringgit. That's excluding labor costs. And if you want to replace the sealant that you use, right? That sealant itself costs $250. The sealant costs more than a regular tire.
Yeah.
And instead of saving the tire, it's actually like a temporary fix. But if cannot fix, it damages the whole tire.
So it's a situation of you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. So
Yes.
going back, right? For you to survive a tire puncture, you have to use the sealant.
Yes.
And after using the sealant,
There's no guarantee.
no. Okay, number one, the sealant is not guaranteed to seal
Yes.
the hole, to plug the hole. And even if it does, the tire is useless anyway,
Yes, you only can use it up
based
to,
on the instructions.
yes, you can only use it up to 200 kilometers.
So you had to buy a new set of tire, one new tire
Yes.
that costs as much as a set of tires.
Yes.
So then you wrote an article. Then do you really need to spend 2,500 ringgit for EV specific tires? And then that brought us to this episode today.
Yes.
Now, you said you wanted to rewind back, and if you could do everything again, what would you change?
I will not bother with the tire repair kit. Just tow it anyway.
Tow it back to KL.
Yes.
Okay.
Because-
cut the story short.
Cut the story short, because the thing is, I'm traveling with my family, so that's the biggest difference here. If I'm traveling alone, I can take the adventure. Okay,
Yeah, you
let's
can
try
just
to
cowboy it.
Let's cowboy. Like, I did tow it to Taiping or Ipoh or to Penang, and then just park it there, and then just wait for the next few days.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I don't know what to expect.
Yeah.
Yeah, I might tow a car somewhere there, and then it might be middle of nowhere, and then got other people involved lah. That's the problem.
All right. So from that experience, right, let's go into question number one, because LTA now is
Yes.
question based and stuff like that. So question one: do we need EV specific tires?
For me, not necessarily. As long as it fits the size and then can support the load and all that, I think it should be okay. Because, like we mentioned in the post, right? Most affordable EVs and lower spec EVs, right? They all come with regular tires. And for example, the Hyundai Ioniq 5, the only exception is like certain high spec models, like
The
the
Ioniq
Hyundai
5 Max, I think.
Ioniq 5 Max and the Kia EV6, because Malaysia only gets the top spec GT line all-wheel drive. That uses a 20-inch tire, and that comes bundled together, as in like factory fitted a 20-inch EV specific tire.
Yeah.
So the difference of EV specific tires, because these tires are designed for efficiency. Because number one, I think they want to have the looks like, high spec,
Low rolling resistance.
low rolling resistance, stiffer walls because the heavier weight to ensure that you have better cornering experience. And also they add that foam that we mentioned earlier to reduce the noise, because like you said, right, there's no long engine noise.
Yep.
So others sounds, right, it's not like they're getting loud. They're perceived to be louder because you can notice
Because it's more noticeable.
more noticeable.
Yeah.
So this foam, especially for this Continental Premium Contact 6, they say it's designed to reduce the noise up to 9 decibels.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
so-
noticeable.
Yeah.
Because, the decibel scale is on a exponential
Yes.
increase, right?
Yeah.
So 1 is not equivalent to 2 and 2 is not equivalent to 3. It's like double. It's exponential. So
Yeah.
9 decibels is, I guess, considerable.
Yeah, especially when you consider that previously there is the engine noise to mask the tire noise. Now we have the engine noise that's more noticeable.
Yeah, but then again, I still notice there's still noticeable tire noise in the EV6,
Yeah, but imagine if
especially
you
at highway speeds.
yes, but imagine if you're not using.
You don't have it,
Yeah,
it might be worse.
It might be worse.
Okay, so the question is, do you need specific EV tires? Right, now what are specific EV tires? So like you mentioned, right, so they have low rolling resistance to increase efficiency, because EVs are all about efficiency.
Yep.
Number 2 is they have a special compound that, this is what the tire makers claim, right? They have a special compound that's able to cope with high instant torque application applied on the road. And then number 3 is they have a special sound deadening materials or construction to help drown out the sound.
Yep.
I wouldn't say that, I think that brief is covering almost all tire manufacturer. Like for tires that are designed for comfort and touring and long distance, right, they want it to be low noise unless it's high performance tires.
Yep.
And then they want it to be low rolling resistance.
More efficient.
I guess the only difference would be like the instant torque application, because I think no ICE vehicles cannot like apply
Immediate
100% of torque at
Yes.
0 RPMs. But then again, you have high performance tires that are put on more powerful, more torquey cars
Supercars.
that have no issues with that. So I don't know. I think this is a marketing gimmick. So do you need EV specific tire? Short answer is no. Then we come to this problem. Okay, so you and I, we drive the Kia EV6, right? So one of the biggest problems, or I think it's a confusion, I'm not sure. So I'm in the Kia EV6 WhatsApp group. A lot of the thing that people are, I guess, confused or concerned about is that you cannot change anything on the car. You cannot change the tires. You cannot put different spec tinted. You cannot put coating. You cannot do the wrapping, because the thing that we get told is that if you do any of that, warranty is going to be voided. So what I did is I went through the warranty terms and condition, and this is what it says specifically with regards to tires. Tires are warranted by the tire's original manufacturer, subject to the manufacturer's final decision. Fixing of non-recommended specification / size / brand of wheel rims and tires which are not in accordance to the EV6 will void the warranty, and the manufacturer will not undertake product liability arising out of the non-conformity. When I asked the question on whether we should only use the Continental, the answer is yeah, you need to use the Continental or the warranty will be voided. That is what I got in terms of the answer. But when I read the black and white, actually you don't have to. All you need to do is make sure that it is within the specifications specified by the manufacturer. In this case, if it's 20 inch, then it has to be 20 inch. If it's whatever that size is, 255 or
25, 45, R20.
the sections, right? So you have to follow that and follow the speed rating, and that's pretty much it. So to answer the question, you don't need EV specific tires. You just need to follow the spec recommended by the manufacturer. Obviously, if it's 2255, you don't go and install 2265 or 2235 or whatever. Stick with 2255.
Yep.
It can be any brand and any manufacturer.
Yep.
Interestingly, I did some research. So like the BMW iX3, for example, I think it's more expensive than the EV6, right?
Yep.
That uses the Yokohama Advanced Sport V107, which is not an EV specific tire. And then I also did some research. The Mercedes-Benz EQS 450 Plus, which is like the hyper high premium, it costs about 695,000 ringgit.
Their flagship lah.
The flagship EV vehicle for Mercedes. It doesn't use a EV specific tire.
Yep.
It uses a Goodyear Eagle F1 Asymmetric 5, which is a high performance tire but not an EV specific tire. So if cars that are more expensive, arguably I think the EQS 450 Plus has more power, more torque than the Kia EV6. So by that logic, I don't think you need EV specific tires. At the same time, we have cheaper models like the Kona, even the Kona Max, which is the high end of the Kona range, doesn't use EV specific tires. And then you have the affordable versions, affordable EV cars in Malaysia. You have the BYD Atto 3. I don't remember what tires they use, but they don't use EV specific tires.
They use some
China made tires.
Atlas Batman tire or something.
Batman, yes. The brand is Batman. And then you have the
Aura Good Cat.
Aura Good Cat, which also don't use EV specific tires. So do you run the risk of having to use super expensive EV specific tires? You don't have to.
But going back to my situation, right? If given a choice, right, should I use original or should I use a different brand? For me, is if let's say the tires wear out, I'll consider changing to a different tire. But the thing is, this is one tire. I can't be just changing one tire with a non-EV. It's going to be weird, right? Yeah. It's going to be imbalanced as well.
So in your case, I think it's a anomaly lah. But you know, like you said, right? So if you are after your tires have worn down, and you gotta change, and it's time for you to change the tires, right? Yeah. And if a tire from Kia costs you 2,500 ringgit per piece, so you're looking at 10,000 ringgit to change a set of tires on the Kia EV6. Not because the tires are expensive, but because the dealer here is saying that we have to use the Continental Premium Contact 6 specifically. Yeah,
it's a rip-off because we did a search as well, right? And also asked around, right? You get the same tire, same size, but the non-EV version, basically without the foam thingy, right? It's like 1,000 bucks cheaper.
Yeah.
Same with Michelin as well. So Michelin for the RN5 Max using the Pilot Sport EV, that costs also 2,450 ringgit. And if you get the non-EV, it's 1,000 bucks cheaper. So
the Pilot Sport 5 or something like that.
So basically the tire manufacturers are just making tons of money from this.
Yeah, tons. I wouldn't think that the change in compound to make it low rolling resistance, I wouldn't think it
costs 1,000 bucks
itself would add 1,000 bucks.
Because of rarity, and then they know, okay, you want the best scarcity, performance, the scarcity. And then you only can get it from specific outlets. So in this case, only from Kia Glamorate. Because the tire normal workshops, you won't
They're not going to
find
stock it out.
Yes.
Even if they do, you got to order it.
You got to wait,
All right, question number 2. If you encountered a flat tire while driving, in an EV, what do you do?
So it also depends on the scenario lah. So in my scenario, sadly was a big leak, so it runs out air very quickly. So for my instance, is the best way is to have it towed to a tire shop and get it repaired.
So I think if the air comes out like really quickly and it's like a flat, right?
Yes.
If it's not, I think so. For me to answer that question is, what would you do if your EV encountered a puncture at the roadside, right? First thing is treat it like a normal car, to be honest.
Yeah, of course.
Nothing, you don't have to treat it in any special way, guys. Seriously, an EV is like a normal car. A lot of the mechanics in terms of like the tires, the wheels, how it performs and functions are basically the same as a normal car. So nothing changes aside from like the power, the battery, the motor. That's different. We'll talk about that later. But if it's something that you cannot rescue, you cannot salvage, like you cannot pump air and the air is coming out really quickly, like you mentioned, right? Number 1, and if it's equipped with the sealant tire repair kit, do not use it.
Don't bother. Yeah.
Do not use it under any circumstance. Do not use it. Okay, because it's a loss. It's a lose-lose. Number 1, whether it's going to seal that hole or not, even if it's not a foam-filled tire, it's 50-50.
Yep.
Depends on the size of the hole and whatever. By that time, and when that happens, you're not going to determine whether it's probably your first time. You're not going to know, hey, this is a big enough hole or small enough hole, and you're going to be optimistic to say, okay, the sealing is new technology, is going to be able to do it. And then you look at the box, wow, this is so fancy, it's going to work.
Yep.
Because you want it to work, and it doesn't work. if it does work, the problem is you still have to deal with the sealant later.
Yeah.
You gotta go to a workshop, take the tire out, clean the sealant, if it allows you to do that, if you can, and then patch up the tire. Right? Still the same thing.
So might as well just, like for example, it's a slow leak, right? Normally, like my past encounters is normally slow leaks. You don't, the tire's not completely flat.
I think what's unfortunate with you was the culprit that made the hole in your tire was dislodged from your tire, and that's when the air start coming out.
Yeah, and it's huge because like I said, like people say it's slow leak, right? You can just fill up the air, you can drive for a good 100 kilometers. You won't go completely flat. It's still drivable.
I can go for months with a nail in my tire if it's a slow leak. No problem. Just keep adding air.
Just keep adding air like once a week. Just add.
Air is free.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and then you just find a workshop and then get it patched in like in 8 ringgit.
So So for me, I would recommend that if you are traveling long distances, right, assemble your own tire repair kit. Get this thing we call the charging, right?
Yeah.
This rubber strips.
Yeah.
You can get it at Mr. DIY for 5 ringgit. Apparently, the price has increased.
Okay.
To like 8 ringgit. What you told me?
Oh, that one's if you go to the mechanic.
To the workshop.
Yes,
Okay. So you can go to Mr. DIY, get the tire repair kit. So the Kia EV6 doesn't come with a jack, so you got to check with your EVs. Again, this applies for normal cars as well.
The hybrids especially.
Yeah, if you have like space saver tire, or if your car is not equipped with a spare wheel and is supplied with the sealant. For example, like I used to drive the Peugeot 5008. That doesn't have a spare tire, and it does come with a sealant kit. So assemble your own tire repair kit. So get a tire repair kit, the charging type. Mr. DIY only 5 ringgit. Maybe invest in a jack if your car doesn't have one. You can get like a really cheap one at Shopee. I would get the hydraulic one. The problem with that one is maybe it's not small enough, and then maybe get like a small box to put all these things in. And also invest in an air compressor. So there's like one from 70 Mai. Is that how you pronounce the brand?
Yeah, 70 Mai. Yeah,
70 Mai. It's 12 volt. Don't get the battery operated one because it's just too slow. Get the 12 volt one, and you're good to go. Even if you don't want to do it yourself and you are stuck at the side of the highway, just call up Plus.
Yes.
And they'll come in and do it for you. Just give them the tools. Just give them the charging, the jack, and they'll help you out.
Oh, speaking of which, if let's say you're stuck if let's say you break down in the highway for whatever reason, engine failure or motor failure or no air and
brain
all that.
failure.
So basically, if you stall at next to the highway, right, the first thing you need to do is get out, bring all your family members, occupants, and stand behind the rail.
Yeah.
Don't fix the tire yourself because it's going to be super dangerous. So you just stand behind the rail, call Plus, and they'll come with their whatever lights or whatever not to block the place, and they will do the tire changing for you.
Yes.
Yeah. You pay for toll, let them do the service. Yeah.
Yes. So that's a good point, right? So a lot of people, I see them, waiting at the roadside or trying to fix the tire themselves at the roadside.
Yeah.
That's super dangerous. A lot of cases where people just get slammed by highway drivers. The safest place for you to be if you are stuck on a highway, if your car break down on a highway, is outside of the car behind the railing.
Yeah.
If there is no choice, or if it's raining or whatever, the best place to be is stay in the car. Make sure the lights are on so that cars can see you. At least the car can protect you.
And also, if you put a triangle, right, put it further away. Don't they put like
Don't put it right behind your car.
You see the car. You see the car first before the triangle.
Yeah. It needs to be at least maybe 10, 20 meters away so that people can see.
Yeah.
If it's equipped with that, lah.
Yeah.
All right. So I think we've answered that question with regards to what to do with your car if with your EV if you had a puncture. What do you do with your EV if it runs out of battery?
Runs out of battery? Call a friend to come and
charge it.
Yeah.
It's gonna take hours though.
I mean, you can just okay. Depends where you are, lah. So if let's say within town, I think it's still salvageable because just to give some context. So couple EV simulation, we have something called vehicle to load. So it's like, kind of like reverse charge. So for example, on the Kia EV6 and the Hyundai Ioniq 5 and also the BYD Atto 3, the charging port at the back of the car can be used as a charger. So you can so they provide like an adapter for you to plug your appliances. So you can use that to plug the emergency charger, the 3-pin charger to charge a car. It's going to be slow. I think you're going to get like 3 kilowatts.
Yep.
So you
Super
probably
slow.
So probably need to give it like a 1 hour charge to give it a usable range.
Enough juice.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. And also in terms of the battery, right? I think other people imagine that once the battery reaches zero, the car is dead.
Yes.
So, but there's a lot of videos out there who actually try to do this. So once you hit zero, so there's a few states. So once you reach zero, right, what happens is that the car will be like a throttle mode.
You get into turtle mode.
Turtle mode,
Yeah.
You only can drive like maybe 30 or 50 kilometers per hour.
Yeah.
Reduce speed, and you probably have additional maybe 8 to 10 kilometers depending on the car model to get to the nearest charging stations. But of course, do not don't let the car drain until that low lah.
And the other thing that you can do is, okay, so if there's no options, you don't have a friend that can come and charge for you and things like that, what you can do is obviously you have to tow it.
Yep.
Right? And the best towing service the best towing vehicle to put an EV on is a flatbed truck.
Yeah.
For if at all possible, do not use the normal old style towing truck.
The one that drags
that lifts up only two wheels.
Two wheels, and then your rear wheels running. Yeah.
If you must, you need to determine whether your car is all-wheel drive or just two-wheel drive.
Yep.
If it's two-wheel drive, then it's still possible.
If it's front-wheel drive.
If it's front-wheel drive,
Yep.
you tow the front.
Yep,
If
correct.
it's rear-wheel drive, you tow the rear. You
Okay.
lift up the rear. But that one is also, you have to handle the steering wheel and stuff like that. So I don't recommend it. Or even if you must, make sure that the tow truck has the small baby wheels, you call them.
Or to lift it up from the road.
Yes, so that the wheels are not spinning. Because unlike a normal ICE car, an electric vehicle, you cannot disconnect the driving wheels from the gearbox because an electric vehicle doesn't have a gearbox.
It's direct to the motor.
Yes, and the motor is directly connected to the wheel. And when you start turning the wheel, the motor will turn. I've seen some videos on YouTube where a guy tried to tow his Tesla using his pickup truck to see how much battery he can regenerate, and I think it's quite a considerable amount. I don't have the numbers here. We'll put a link to the video in our description on our YouTube channel. But I think it's quite considerable. So if you want to try, maybe you can tow the car and get it charged. So yeah.
But it's not advisable lah. I mean, I think the best thing is to consult your vehicle's roadside assist, because I'm pretty sure they have the hotline to deal with EVs. And also, towing is free because it's bundled with insurance. Your insurance provide you towing at least once a year lah.
Yeah. So
correct.
make the most out of your money.
Yes.
For me, that is serious because that can cause considerable damage to your car if it's towed by somebody that doesn't know what they're doing.
Yes, correct.
One of the issues is we know with this electronic shifters, right, is putting the car in free gear. So a lot of people don't know how to put the car in free gear because when you put your car in neutral and you turn off the engine or turn off the motor, the car will be in park.
Yeah, you auto apply the parking brake.
Yes. So for the EV6, it's quite easy actually. It will say on the display there if you want to leave it not permanently, if you want to leave it in free gear, neutral gear, press the OK button, press and hold the OK button, and it will be in neutral even when you turn off the motor, the power. For other vehicles, I'm not sure. You have to refer to your manual to see how to put it in neutral.
Yeah, that's what I did actually. So on the tow truck, right? So once it's loaded up there, so the final part we need to tie it out and they need to pull it slightly to the front. So the guys asked me to put neutral. So at first I was like, how do you put this neutral? I put it in neutral, and next thing you know, I just pop up. You want to release, like set the neutral state, press OK, then it becomes neutral.
Yes, press and hold OK.
Press OK.
Yeah.
Then the guy can pull the car out slightly, like a few inches to the front. Yeah.
Okay, I think we have the last question, right? So the last question is, what do you do in an accident involving an EV vehicle? So it's either you're driving the EV or you crash into an EV or you see an EV that's crashed at the roadside.
Check
what
number
do you
plate.
do? Okay, after checking the number plate, or take video, I think, what do you do? So why is this a question, right? Okay. And again, a lot of people are saying, batteries can catch fire, if they can explode, it's very dangerous. Inherently, I have to be honest, inherently the technology, because battery, it stores a lot of power.
Yep.
For the EV6, for example, it's an 800 volt architecture. Anything that's above 60 volt is high voltage and is very dangerous. And there's a lot of potential energy stored inside the battery. And depending on the state of charge, right? So if your battery is 50% charge or 10% charge or 90% charge, there's difference, right? So if it's 50% charge, obviously it has more power, more potential, and more
volatile.
Yeah, it can go down this what the engineers call thermal runway, where the heat just creates a chain reaction and the battery will become hotter and hotter and hotter. Eventually it will burst. I don't want to say explode, but engineers know that this is a problem, and electric vehicles are at least as safe as petrol cars, if not safer. This is also according to research from the American Institute of Insurance and Highway Safety. So they've done tests on a number of vehicles, and they've found out that battery explosion is rare. It can happen, and if it does happen, it takes a long time to kill the fire, and you cannot kill the fire with water. You have to use foam and stuff like that. But I would argue that you can normal ice cars catch fire too.
Yeah, we see that lots of times as well.
And petrol is volatile as well. So it is as safe, if not safer. The question is, can you touch an electric vehicle when it's in a crash? For me, that's the biggest question. I've not done enough research, but what I know is B Auto, for example, they've gone on an initiative to train as many police people, first responders and rescuers about how to handle EV crash in Malaysia. So what I know is, there's an easy to find switch that disconnects the high voltage battery from the vehicle so that it's safe for you to start touching and opening the doors.
Yeah, they show that it's like a fuse box in the front bonnet. So you lift it up. There's this yellow tab. You can't miss it. You just
orange or yellow.
Orange, yellow.
Mango, orange.
Yeah,
kind of look.
it's so striking. You can't miss it. Just pull that tab to disconnect the main battery.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you have to disconnect the main battery so that it doesn't become an electric shock risk.
Yeah.
I guess for me, use your discretion. I know some of you are good Samaritans. You want to go and help out somebody in a crash. If it's an EV vehicle, be careful, because if you have reason to believe that there is electric leakage and the car itself is live, touching it would mean electrocution to you. Again, a car with 400, 800 volt architecture will be instant electrocution. Once you touch something that has that amount of power, your muscle starts to spasm and you cannot release yourself even if you want to. So try, if you can, find some rubber gloves, use a plastic pole or plastic or a wooden pole. Exercise the similar level of caution you would handling an electrical fire or an electrical outage, right?
Yep.
Similar thing. But I guess for me, is leave it to the professionals lah.
Yeah, I think pretty sure that I think as time goes on, I think more first responders, also highway patrols, rescue rondas and all that, they should be better equipped to handle these kind of crashes lah. Because one of the examples we saw is that at B Auto as well. So they also gave this demonstration, right? So they have like this anti-static entry like a special suit that actually
like an anti-static suit,
anti-electric suit, so
anti-conduction suit.
Yes, so it's like it isolates them, and then there's like a plastic rod behind to pull them in case of emergency. So they have these special tools to handle crashes as well.
Yeah, and then they have like the high density gloves that they have to wear. So I'm sure like the first responders are equipped with all this. I'm sure like the bomber is equipped with all this. But for me, you can pull that disconnect. The high voltage battery disconnector. The problem is, for you to access that, you have to open the hood.
That's it, right.
That's the problem.
So better leave the professionals. And if you see EV in a crash, please do let them know that it involves an EV.
Yeah.
So they know what to prepare.
So that they know what to do.
Yep.
Yeah. For me, the fear mongering saying that EV cars are dangerous. Look, I think there are smarter people out there who design the cars, and I think and the EVs have been in the not in Malaysia but in the world for like over 10 years. So they've thought about all these things, and like I said, the last that they want to see is their car burning down, because that would make headlines.
And also and then cause injury or deaths to people.
Yeah. So that's the last thing that they want to avoid. So yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. I hope we've answered all your questions with regards to EV. We're more than happy to answer more questions. Just let us know in the comment section, and we'll put up a show for that. And is there anything you want to add?
So when you want to go up north?
Yeah, I'm gonna. The problem is, if I'm going up north, I gotta bring 4 kids and a wife. So that's 6 people in a car. It's too much for the.
Miss, you need her EV.
EV SUV. EV MPV.
MPV, yes.
Yeah, which it's not available here. So the one thing I really enjoy about EV is that the driving experience is so smooth. Obviously, you have technologies that are available in ICE cars now, like the highway drive assist and autonomous steering and stuff like that, right? But with EV, you don't have to figure out the gear shifting, and that makes it a much enjoyable drive.
Yeah, it's much smoother as well, and it's so much quieter. And then, like doing a highway, right? So I just turn on adaptive cruise control, and then keep my distance and stay in the left lane, and then it's just so smooth. Yeah. While people are just hogging the middle and right lanes.
Yeah. So you were saying that you enjoyed the drive up until the puncture happened.
Yes, correct. Yeah. It's so effortless. Yeah.
Yeah. But I guess even when the puncture happened, you had to sit in the car for like 7 hours while it's being towed. It wasn't an issue because for 4 people, it's quite spacious.
Yeah, and then also there's a utility mode. So you can for most cars, you can run utility mode. So basically, you use electricity from the main battery, not the 12-volt socket. So you can have your aircon running, you can have your music playing, and also there's a port behind. So I was working on my laptop as well, so while being towed. So no issues. Yeah.
So I guess you can make the most out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so at the end of the day, I think EVs are just as good as, or if not better than normal cars. I think the future is coming. For the naysayers, I think, you need to have an open mind and see that, this is the way to go.
But for me, I think one last thing I want to add on is that I think this whole situation could have been solved if manufacturers find a way to put a spare tire. That will just solve everything.
I guess they tried because, so if you put no, cannot. Because you know what? How do you put a 20-inch spare tire without sacrificing space for the battery or space for for luggage? You can't, man.
Well, that's something I think can be solved with technology. I think once batteries, they improve the density.
You can put it on the roof.
I mean, once they make it more, make the battery more dense, maybe it doesn't take up so much space. Because for me, it's like from this experience, right? It's like this whole issue can be solved if there's a spare tire. Just swap the tire and you're on your journey. No issues.
So I guess everything in the world is a trade-off, right? So if you want a spare tire, you will have a car that's probably only has 15-inch wheels. Then you can put in a spare tire.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't want a car with 15-inch wheels. You cannot have nice-looking cars.
Yeah, but for the best of in terms of safety and security, and saying no worries.
No, I guess because people think that punctures don't happen often. I don't know, touch wood.
That's what I thought. And all the puncture experience was like slow leaks, so no big deal,
Okay, on that note, I just want to remind everybody that we are available on podcasts, so just search for Let's Talk About Chin Chow, and we're available wherever you listen. If you're watching us on YouTube, thanks very much for watching. Give us a thumbs up if you like the video, if you think it's informative. Let us know, what do you think? Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Your comments, your suggestions, your questions, we love to read them and respond to them and turn them into a show, so let us know. For those of you who are listening on podcast, you can also drop us a voice note and we'll be more than happy to publish them if it's interesting. So just drop your voice notes at
Let's Talk About at soyachinchow.com.
Alright, that's pretty much it. This is Amin.
And it's Alex.
Thanks very much, guys. Catch you guys later. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Bye.